First of all, I want to say, when you look at New York State, it's at a crossroads. Governor Cuomo deserves credit for his leadership to bring us to an on-time budget, but most of all, restore New York's standing as the Empire State. Meeting a deadline may not seem like much of an accomplishment outside of Albany. Every day, you have workers across this state do it because that's what they do. They go to work, do their job, go home, and enjoy their family. But an on-time budget, my colleagues, is important because it gives New Yorkers a reason to begin to trust their leaders enough to follow them towards a brighter future. Was this a tough budget? Is this tough times? And we made tough choices. I am supporting this budget, but I cast my vote with eyes wide open to the choices we are making and the political impact on middle-class families and working poor. History will judge us all by those choices, by whether we stood up to ease the burden of middle-class families or sat back while they continued to carry the sole burden of the shared sacrifices needed to solve these fiscal crises. The severity of these economic challenges facing New York demand a new direction, a new beginning, and Governor Cuomo is leading us in that direction. We were sent here to make the tough choices, solve the tough problems, and above all, never forget our districts. The budget did not raise taxes, but I wish it did not give a tax break to what I call the true millionaires. 70,000 people who are making over $1 million at a time when we have 3 million school children facing these deep cuts at this time. We were successful in making some educational restorations, and I want to commend Senator Andrew Stewart Cousins for helping rectify the unfair treatment Yonkers received. But I fear the educational restorations don't go far enough. Sacrificing the promise of tomorrow by delaying the fulfillment of the promise of campaign for fiscal equity is incorrect. Allowing critical programs such as art, music, athletics, language arts means that our children will only read about the Renaissance and not experience the Renaissance. We cut spending, we consolidated agencies to deliver a government that works better, costs less, and even restored vital funding for human services like Title 20 to our seniors and also summer youth employment. And our children will commend us for that. But I wish we had done more to cut with care to balance the budget in line with our values, protecting our most vulnerable citizens. There were significant restorations to CUNY, SUNY, critical to building a well-educated workforce that we desperately need, especially during these economic times. But I wish we had included UB 2020 to build a stronger university system and stronger economy for Western New York. Senator Grisanti, I love your passion, and I agree with your passion, and I trust your word. Working along with my colleague, Senator Kennedy, and the rest of colleagues from Western New York, I believe it will become a reality. As I said, this was a hard vote for me, a hard vote, especially in my district. But these are hard choices facing New York that they had to be made to put us on the right track. My colleagues, the only reason I voted this way is because I trust and I have faith in the governor that these choices that we are making today will put us on the road to fiscal prosperity. As I vote for this budget, I hope the spirit of bipartisanship that we have been experiencing these last couple of days will continue, and our promises will be kept. My conferences here, we made hard choices in supporting parts of this budget that goes, some of us, against our grain, but we knew we had to make tough choices. Senator Skelos, I commend you for your leadership. I commend all my colleagues for their leadership for getting us to this point. But now I'm asking that you join us in making equally hard choices as we move forward. I'm asking that you work with all of us and pass the extension of the rent regulation laws to prevent a disaster, what I call a tenant tax, for 2.5 million people, not only in New York City, Nassau County, Rockland County, and in Westchester. I'm asking you also to work together so we can reach an agreement. We talk about property tax, but at the same time, we need mandate relief, especially to help those middle-class families. I'm asking that you work with all of us to pass an ethics package that restores faith in the legislature and gives New Yorkers a reason to believe in a New York where anything is possible. We made the first step tonight by passing an on-time budget. The next step is ethics reform. And I'm asking that you work with us to keep the promise that 54 out of 62 of us made, that we pass a nonpartisan redistricting bill to make sure that politics are out of the way of drawing our electoral lines. And I'm asking, and I'm glad Senator Diaz is not here tonight, that you partner with all of us to end the inequality same-sex couples face by bringing marriage equality to the floor. Now that this budget is complete, we have the time, we have the responsibility to work on this in a bipartisan manner. I say to my colleagues, is this ambitious? Yes, it is. Is this impossible? I say no. Is it essential? I say absolutely yes. So my colleagues, we're on the right track. Let's continue to be on the right track to make sure that New York State is on the road to being the Empire State, on the road to fiscal prosperity, but most of all, investing in one of the most precious commodities that we have, and that is our children. So once again, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you all my colleagues. Now tomorrow is the time we get back to work. Thank you very much, Mr.